Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people from across the country to talk to me about things we could do right here in New Mexico. On this week's show, we got this.
Yeah, living with MS has been a journey.
For whatever reasons, Dad just don't want to say, hey, I really want...
All that and more right here on New Mexico Rising. You know, with so many holidays throughout the year, it's hard to always find a way to get it right when it comes to giving that perfect gift. But, you know, let's be honest. We all know Dad really doesn't need, want, or could use another tie to add to his collection. So whatever your dad is into, he deserves a win this year. You know, lifestyle expert Malone is here to say that a perfect gift is just waiting for him to open up and enjoy. And she's joined us live from Dick's Sporting Goods in Orlando to give us some great ideas. Welcome to the show, Kia. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
All right. So why is it hard to come up with the right gift for Dad almost every single year?
Because dads don't give us any hints. They don't help us out. I'm like, honey, what do you want to do for Father's Day? Or what? I don't care. Give me whatever. And you know that's not what he's thinking. He just, for whatever reasons, Dad just don't want to say, hey, I really want this or that. And so you got to play this guessing game with him. So what I like to do is like look for clues, look for hints, or think about what does he like to do? How does he like to spend his time? What would be fun for the family? And then I go from there.
All right. So what gift ideas do you have that are kind of trending this year for Dad? And I know dads don't like the word trendy, but we'll see. What do they want?
Well, after you hear my list, you might like the word trendy. Let me tell you. Like I said, love shopping at a retailer like Dick's Sporting Goods, where I can find something for everyone. It's all right here for me. Like these Max Fly Tour golf balls. If your dad's a golfer or wants to be a golfer, you got to make sure he's stocked up on the golf balls. Max Fly Tour golf balls has you covered, as well as the Honors 14-way stand bag. Now, I say elevate that and put in a Callaway AI smoke driver. That's the new thing on trend. He would definitely love that. Or even pair it with this Bluetooth GPS speaker, which is a very unique gift on and off the course. You can even have it, you know, for a backyard cookout or whatever. Now, if you have an outdoorsy type of dad, then the Shiki Pueblo mountain bike is a great option, as well as that Quest Canyon 100 kayak. Remember when I said I like to look at gifts for the entire family? Something like that will be fun for Dad and the kids, all sorts of summer adventures to be had. So these are great gifts to have fun as a family. Now, when Dad is, say, you know, a fitness buff, he would love the Ethos dumbbells. Pair that with a Hyper Ice portable massager, which is essential for any workout recovery. And even just something if you got, you know, a bad shoulder or neck or something, you didn't sleep well or something, it's the perfect gift for that as well. So, oh, I forgot about my favorite here, and my photographer is going to kill me. The Yeti cooler. You cannot forget one of these this summer. They're durable. This is the new blue wave color that is all the rage on trend. It is durable, keeps all of your sandwiches, water bottles, drinks, whatever you have in here cool. And it makes it perfect for camping or even, like I said, hanging out in the backyard, maybe grilling. All great things for Dad on trend.
All right. You got me there. That Yeti looks pretty cool.
Isn't that cool?
All right. What about looking for the more fashion-forward dad? Is there anything that like apparel that would be a pretty good gift?
Here's the thing. For the stylish dad or the dad who wants to be stylish, you know we have to help him like coordinate, right? So get him the whole outfit. And that way he knows exactly how to rock it. So look at the Verst short sleeve piqué button down shirt. Put that over one of the essential tees, or even pair it with the Limitless slim shorts. Dad will be looking very stylish, running errands, at baseball practice, and then date night with you. Now, of course, all the kiddos love these Adidas Sambas, and adults too. The Adidas Sambas are a great way to elevate his kick, or even these On Cloud 5 sneakers. Top it all off with a Bad Birdie hat and even gooder sunglasses, and Dad is set. He'll be looking good for sure.
What if we're trying to like stretch our dollar a little bit? Dad doesn't need every dollar. I'm just kidding. What's your best shopping strategy?
Wait a minute. Dad deserves it, right? No, I know what you mean, though. you're like, hey, I want to get multiple things or whatever. So I look for things that are on trend, but also on sale. And you have a lot of good options going on right now here at Dick's Sporting Goods. And if you're trying to stay within a certain budget, I say go with a gift card. And that way, Dad can get exactly what he wants.
All right, Kia, where can we go for more information?
For more information, head over to Dicks.com. Happy shopping. Happy Father's Day.
Kia Malone, thanks for joining me once again.
Thank you for having me. See you soon.
New research highlights the critical role of workplace belonging in boosting job performance and retaining talent. Dr. Kimberly Underwood, chair of the Center for Workplace Diversity and Inclusion Research at the University of Phoenix, joins us to share insights on how fostering belonging can bridge gaps in social capital and enhance workplace dynamics. Welcome to the show, Dr. Underwood. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us about the term belonging and why it's important in a workplace?
Absolutely. So if we think about belonging just in general terms, it is the sense of being accepted and included by those around you. Specifically in the workplace, it means individuals feel they are treated equitably, they are respected, they can feel comfortable contributing to organizational outcomes, and they can bring their full, authentic selves into the workplace. In our University of Phoenix Research Center, through 2 parallel studies focused on both higher education and the workforce, we explored how the presence or absence of social capital impacts a sense of belonging for students and workers of color. We all recognize in many instances that graduation leads to employment, or it should. However, there is an ongoing disconnect surrounding the role social capital plays within the process of building continuous networks that support these groups throughout their career trajectories.
So what did your research studies discover about belonging in the workplace and also in higher education?
In both studies, strong feelings of belonging were associated with the presence of social capital, meaning the resources that arise from the web of relationships we build with those around us and that contribute to our professional goals. Finding from our higher education study suggests students of color experience a higher sense of belonging when there is the strong presence of social services, faculty interactions, and career development assistance. Finding from our workplace study suggests relationship building, such as mentoring and sponsorship, networking, and building collaborations are all important to employees of color when reflecting upon their sense of belonging in the workforce.
So how do we do it? How do we create more belonging in the workplace and also in higher education?
First, we recommend that leaders need to take a more active role in the process of employee development and moving beyond simply providing the resources for onboarding and functioning within one's current position. When leaders become co-pilots within the continued development of all employees, it helps all employees to identify, utilize, and benefit from resources that are not always readily known or available to all. And then for an employer who may be looking at this and thinking about how do I build belonging within my own organization, it is also important to begin looking at belongingness through the lens of your own employees. Specifically, if we were to compare the workforce to real estate, our study suggests that it is now a buyer's market. Employees are making decisions about what they need within working environments, and many within this study noted a willingness to leave their organizations if they feel they do not belong. Therefore, belongingness has emerged as an important and crucial concept that managers and leaders need to consider.
Dr. Underwood, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information?
We are presenting both of these studies on June 11th within our annual Inclusive Leadership Summit. The event is open to the public. We hope to see you there, and you can register at phoenix.edu/inclusive leaders.
Dr. Underwood, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Death Valley National Park is one of the country's true national treasures. Travel guru Laura Begley Bloom is here today to share some of the best ways to enjoy the park in the summer. So thanks for joining us, Laura. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
All right, we're talking Death Valley. Where do we start?
It's simple. We want to start with the Oasis at Death Valley. This is truly an oasis in one of the most stunning destinations on the planet, and you can't think of a better place to have a bucket list vacation. This luxury escape was originally built in 1927 and recently underwent a major $250 million restoration. There are two properties at the Oasis. The first is the Inn at Death Valley. It features 66 elegantly updated rooms, 22 one-bedroom casitas, a renovated fine dining restaurant and cocktail lounge. Also, don't miss the Wellness Sanctuary at Death Valley and the Xanadu Gardens. My favorite feature is the stunning spring-fed pool that is naturally 87 degrees. And I also love the verandas with sweeping views of Death Valley and the Panamint Mountains. The inn will be open all summer, which would be a change for longtime repeat guests. The other property is the family-friendly The Ranch at Death Valley. It features 196 guest rooms and 81 bedroom cottages, perfect for families and golfers. The Furnace Creek Golf Course at Death Valley is next to the ranch at 214 feet below sea level. It is the world's lowest elevation golf course. Palm trees and majestic mountain views frame the 18-hole par 70 course. The ranch's cottages are right off the golf course, so convenient, and the new Wild Rose Tavern is nearby. It's the perfect spot for golfers looking to cool off. To discover more, visit oasisatdeathvalley.com.
So what are your absolute favorite things to do at Death Valley National Park?
Yeah, well, I love going to Death Valley in the summer. It's hot, but there are fewer crowds, which means a more private and affordable experience. And there are so many unique things to check out when you're here, like stargazing. The park has almost no light pollution, so the stars are incredibly bright. You also can't miss the Badwater Basin, the lowest point in North America. It's a beautiful salt flat covering over 200 square miles. This winter, the basin filled with water, creating Lake Manly. The water was so deep that visitors could kayak in the lake. For the film buffs out there, many iconic Star Wars scenes were shot in Death Valley. R2-D2 and C-3PO walked on the Mesquite Flat sand dunes. And the hiking in Death Valley is also out of this world.
I know we're from the desert and we're kind of used to the heat a little bit, but how do you stay safe in Death Valley for some of that heat in the summer?
Well, the Oasis at Death Valley is a great place. It's my go-to spot to relax during peak heat times after exploring the park in the morning and early evening. I love the old-time ice cream parlor, the Last Kind Words Saloon, and the Oasis shop. Death Valley is also, as we talked about, one of the world's hottest places, so you must be prepared. Here are some of the top tips. You want to drink plenty of water, at least 1 gallon per day, to replace water loss for sweat and more if you're active. You want to avoid hiking in the heat, especially in the low elevations. Head to the mountains, which are cooler in summer. Always drive on paved roads. If your car breaks down, stay with it until help arrives. The National Park Service lists other things to consider at nps.gov.
All right. Thank you for joining me this morning, Laura. Where can we go for more information about it?
Yeah, for more info, you can visit oasisatdeathvalley.com.
Laura Begley Bloom, thanks for joining me again.
Thanks for having me.
Joining us today is Chet Thompson, President and CEO of the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers. And with new EPA regulations set to impose the strictest tailpipe emission standards in history on vehicles manufactured between 2027 and 2032, those changes could drastically reduce the availability of new gas cars and trucks. Chet is here to kind of explain what this means for consumers and with the automotive industry. Welcome to the show, Chet. How are you?
Dan, thanks for having me. I'm great.
All right, can you tell us about the EPA's new tailpipe emission standards for new vehicles manufactured in 2027 to 2032? Will these new regulations impact existing vehicles?
Well, let me tell you what this reg's going to do, Dan. These emission standards are intentionally designed to be so stringent as to force all new cars to be electric. And you heard that correct. The standards, again, are such that no new gas or diesel powered car or truck is going to be able to meet these standards. So in 8 short years, consumers are going to be greatly impacted by having their choice limited. And if you're going to want to buy a new car, you're going to have to buy electric.
So what are some of the potential downsides of this regulation that's going to be pressing down on consumers?
Well, some of the downsides are, one, we just mentioned, is going to greatly limit choice. Electric vehicles, they're great technologies, but they don't work for everybody. They don't work for everybody's budget. They don't work for everybody's commutes. If you live outside of areas where charging stations, they don't work perfectly. This is going to impact this. It's going to say, sorry, if you want a new car, you're going to have to buy electric. Electric cars are on average $10,000 more expensive than their gas counterparts. So the consumers are going to have to pay more, or they're going to be priced out of the new car market entirely. And Dan, I also have to mention, this is really going to be bad for our national economy and our security, because we're going to be so incredibly dependent on China for all of the batteries that this new regulation will require.
Can you tell us what the courses of action exist to stop or pretty much slow down these regulations? Or what role do people that we elect in Congress have to play in all this?
What your viewers can do is have their voices be heard on either side of the issue, frankly. Call elected officials, tell them how you feel, so people can have an opportunity to be, to weigh in. Right now, Dan, the majority of Americans are unaware of these policies, but when they find out about them, they're very unpopular across all political stripes. Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike, to the tune of 70% say we don't want forced electrification.
Chet, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information about any of this?
You can go to don'tbanourcars.com. Don'tbanourcars.com. There you can find out more information about the regs and how people can weigh in.
Chet, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Dan.
Summer is here, and with Father's Day right around the corner, now is a good time to start thinking about your warm weather menu. Whether it's for an upcoming summer holiday or a casual evening soiree, Angela King has some food and wine tips for the months ahead.
With endless sunshine and warmer days, summer fun means entertaining more often. When planning, experts suggest simplifying your food and wine menu. Winemaker Chris Luton and executive chef Peter Janiak, St. Francis Winery and Vineyards, share their expert advice and recipes found on the website.
For a light, crisp white wine such as Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay, I like to pair a salad, grilled vegetables, or seafood. With a full-bodied red wine such as Cabernet Sauvignon, I think that goes really well with heavier dishes such as steak or lamb.
The asparagus pairs great with our Sauvignon Blanc. Those bitter notes really make the fruit-forward Sauvignon Blanc shine. Our corn and coconut bisque is great with our Sonoma County Chardonnay. With our Sonoma County Cabernet Sauvignon, I like a grilled hanger steak. I use a green tomato chimichurri to give a little brightness and herbaceousness to the pairing.
For these recipes and more, visit stfranciswinery.com/summer pairings.
From the basketball court to battling multiple sclerosis, our next guest story is truly inspiring. Joining us now is Chris Wright, the first person with MS to play in the NBA, and Dr. Heidi Crayton, a board-certified neurologist. Chris is here to share his journey living with MS and how it has impacted his career. Dr. Crayton is here with the importance of early diagnosis and trying to find the right support. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for having us.
So what is multiple sclerosis or MS, and what are some of the signs and symptoms?
So MS is an autoimmune condition where people have inflammation in the central nervous system, which is any part of the brain, any part of the spinal cord. And how somebody experiences MS is 100% dependent on where they are affected by MS. So there's kind of no typical set of symptoms. Everybody's so different. Some people might have problems with their vision. Some people might have sensation funniness. Some people might have balance issues or weakness. But it's really, truly an individualized condition, and everybody's MS is their MS.
And Chris, can you share a little bit of your story living with MS and how your diagnosis has impacted your career?
Yeah, living with MS has been a journey. It's been one of basically showing and prove that I can still live my life the way I want to live. I can still be a professional athlete. I can still have a major impact at a high level. It was definitely a process, and it was definitely something that I had to, a lot of trial and error, a lot of different methods of attack, but my basis of understanding on how to move forward was having my doctor, Dr. Crayton, having a great support team, And as well as that, is just having a network of people that you can go to and a family that's understanding of what, the next steps in your life are going to look like. And that's been extremely important for me, the open lines of communication. In terms of playing, it was tough. It was extremely tough being a basketball player, playing with multiple sclerosis, but it was rewarding for the simple fact that I did it and I was the first one to do it. So hopefully it inspires others to continue to go down that path or whatever it is they want to do.
And Dr. Crayton, why is it so important for patients to find a doctor they trust and feel comfortable with?
It's a long-term relationship, and I think it's really important. It's imperative to find somebody, a healthcare team that you trust, that you can communicate with, that you are comfortable being vulnerable with, and that you respect enough to be able to share those really important decisions with, and to have somebody that just can kind of guide you through your process of having MS and open the doors to all the possibilities out there and to work on you achieving your goals instead of kind of the goals that are set forth by others.
So why is it important for people living with MS to speak up to their doctors and their families?
Nobody knows MS like the person who has MS. Nobody can be told what it's like to experience a different symptom. And so it's important that people who have MS express that to their healthcare team, to their loved ones, to their family, to their support system, because nobody, again, knows their MS like they do. So it's important to speak up, to educate, and to help others traverse your MS with you and to be part of that journey.
And what do you want patients who are just recently diagnosed with MS to know?
What I would say is what the great Brian Culberson says, and it says, stay with it. You got to stay with it. You have to figure out what works for you. I think that's a process for all individuals to figure out, whether you have multiple sclerosis or any condition. You have to figure out what works for you and tailor that to try to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And in terms of multiple sclerosis and trying to figure out a good foundation of knowledge, expressforms.com does a great job of sharing information and hearing stories about other people that have multiple sclerosis, as well as giving you a basic foundational understanding of what your next life, what your path is going to look like moving forward.
Can you guys explain what Express for MS is and where can we go for more information?
Sure. Express for MS is basically a platform where people are sharing their stories that are living with MS. And it's also here for you to hear other people's stories and to get a basic information and understanding of what multiple sclerosis is, how you can live with this, and how you can be successful in your everyday life with multiple sclerosis. And you can go to express4ms.com for more information.
Thank you for joining me this morning, you two.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Small cell lung cancer has presented one of the greatest challenges in cancer treatment, with little progress against this aggressive tumor type seen in decades. Now, a new treatment approach is available to patients. So joining us to share more about this complex disease and the latest advancements is Dr. Paul Burton, Senior Vice President and Chief Medical Officer at Amgen. Welcome to the show, Dr. Burton. How are you?
Good morning, Dan. Thank you for having me.
Why is small cell lung cancer so difficult to treat?
Yeah, so Dan, of all of lung cancer, small cell lung cancer represents about 15%, so 1 in 7 patients. Here in the United States, there's about 35,000 new patients diagnosed with small cell lung cancer every year. It's very difficult to treat because it's aggressive and it's fast growing. It also spreads early and it spreads quickly. And patients typically will present late with the disease. And on average, for those patients with extensive stage small cell lung cancer, only 3% of them, Dan, will be alive 5 years after diagnosis. And when you think about that in terms of time, for those extensive patients, their average survival is only 3 to 5 months after the time of diagnosis. So this is an important cancer, very aggressive, very hard to treat.
So what is the current outlook for patients?
Well, so to be honest, the outlook for patients is bleak. In 2023, Amgen presented data from a clinical trial looking at a new medicine called Imdelltra. Now, Imdelltra is an antibody that has 2 arms. One of the arms grabs onto the cancer cell, and the other arm grabs on to the patient's white blood cells. And it pulls those white blood cells into the cancer, and in a very aggressive, directed way, unleashes the power of the patient's immune system against the cancer, and it really kills the cancer cells. Now, I mentioned that the average time of survival for these patients with late-stage disease is maybe 3 to 5 months. We were thrilled in the study because we found that their survival was basically tripled to 14 months. So we think this is a potentially transformative new therapy for these patients. And in fact, based on that, the FDA just recently approved Imdelltra for the treatment of these patients with extensive stage small cell lung cancer. So this is an important finding. It has important severe side effects that patients need to know about. There is a website that they can go to. It's imdelltra.com, imdelltra.com. They can find out more information about the disease, about Imdelltra, and then they can have those discussions with their physicians to see what's right for them.
Dr. Paula Burton, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Dan.
You know, summer is here, and what better way to celebrate some long-lasting memories than a trip to Legoland, California. Celebrating its 25th anniversary, the resort is launching North America's first Lego World Parade and the exciting new Dino Valley. So today, we're joined by Christina, Fillippis, Legoland ambassador and communications manager, to share her top vacation ideas and highlights from the park itself. Welcome to the show, Christina. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I am doing great. I'm standing right now in Dino Valley in front of one of our new rides, Duplo Little Dino Trail.
All right, so what is one of the best ways long-lasting family memories could be made for this summer?
My number one advice for families is to plan ahead. As a mom to a 4-year-old boy, I know just how important it is to plan ahead when you are building out your summer fun plans. And you can never go wrong with a fully immersive experience. And at Legoland California Resort, we have over 60 ride shows and attractions, including 2 on-site hotels, the Legoland Hotel and the Legoland Castle Hotel. We have a sea life aquarium, the Legoland Water Park, and all of them are geared for families with children ages 2 to 12. So with so much to offer, you are going to find something for every member of the family here.
So can you tell us about North America's very first Lego World Parade?
Absolutely. I am so excited because we are celebrating Legoland California Resort's 25th birthday with the launch of the Lego World Parade. It features 6 Lego-themed floats, including a bright red Lego City fire truck, a swashbuckling pirate ship, and floats inspired by Lego Ninjago, Lego Friends, Lego City Deep Sea Adventure, and even Lego Duplo. And with that, we have over 50 performers who will be dancing and marching their way from Funtown through the Lego movie world, and even interacting with families along the route, creating a can't-miss family fun opportunity when visiting Legoland California Resort this summer.
Christina, that's all amazing. Where can we go for more information to learn about booking our trip, getting our tickets, and go checking out Legoland? Because I know that's something I've never been, a place I've never been to, and I definitely want to go check out myself.
Absolutely. All the information can be found on Legoland.com. You can book your visit and even take a look at our $29 kids ticket deal that's on right now for the summer.
Oh, excellent. All right. So where was that again?
Legoland.com.
Christina, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
That's it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. Until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.